Guitar tips, just the tips, just for you. Guitar tips. Hello and welcome to Guitar Tips. My name is Adam Levy, and Guitar Tips is my weekly video blog series. I post a new tip here each and every Friday. This is episode 120, posting on December 16th, 2016. This week's guitar tip is don't stop. Don't stop. Now, sometimes the title of Guitar Tips, I will explain how it can have two meanings. Not always, but sometimes I'll do that. This week I am upping my double entendre game. Now it's a triple entendre. I don't know if that's even a thing, but I'm making it a thing. And I'm going to talk about three aspects of don't stop. So the first is when you are practicing playing over tunes, and it could be any kind of tunes. I'm going to pick a jazz tune because it seems like from the feedback that I get here that a lot of you are interested in jazz and are working on jazz things. So I'm going to pick all the things you are. It's a popular jazz standard composed by Jerome Kern. It's F minor, B flat minor, E flat. You probably know the tune. If you don't know the tune, reach for your nearest real book or just look up the changes on the internet. It's a easy to find tune. So one thing I notice when I'm teaching and working with students is they will start on an idea and either completely stop if they play a wrong note or get frustrated. They may just take their hands off the guitar and just outright stop. Or they may, well, that would look like this. I'm going to play the tune. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. In that moment, that was not a very dramatic reenactment, but you get the idea. I played a wrong note, and I just, all the talk in my head of how, I'm not a good guitar player and I'm not a good person and all that stuff just gets real loud, and that chatter takes over and the hands give up and the focus goes away. That's one kind of stopping that we want to not do. So it takes a certain kind of discipline to just keep going. I'm not someone who meditates, but it seems to me that meditation would be a good way to work on this, because in meditation it's the same idea from my understanding, is that you're just trying to quiet your thoughts and stay focused either on one specific thing like a mantra or on nothing if that's possible. And then when these ideas come into your head, like that's a wrong note, or I'm no good, or whatever, you just go to your worst possible place and then just give up and put the guitar down and or want to start over. So I don't have a specific methodology for how to practice not stopping, but I would just say, yourself, find a way that works to either motivate yourself to not stop or to demotivate yourself from stopping. So that's one kind of stopping, is you play a wrong note and you get derailed and you go. Another kind that's closely related is you play a wrong note and then you just start some other area of the neck, figuring like this area has been kind of stunk up, and you'll just go over here and just try something new because you want to get as far away from wherever you were as possible. And that might look like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm not probably doing enough of a job, because usually what I find is when students do that, they are like, ugh, and they make a lot of sad faces and grunty noises, and eventually might just give up if they stink up enough areas of the guitar, they may just give up altogether. So you don't want to do that. Don't stop, because on a real gig, as in a live performance in front of live people with other live musicians, or by yourself, stopping is not allowed. It just doesn't. It's not part of what you can do in music. So the more that you include stopping in your practice time, the more you're reinforcing the possibility that stopping is an option, and it is not an option. Reminds me of a story. A couple years ago, I was in a taxi cab in New York City. I was headed to the airport, and the driver was actually young, probably in his early 20s, and also young at driving a taxi. I can't imagine he had been driving very long at that point. But he somehow got his taxi medallion, and he was driving his cab. Anyway, he was driving erratically across one of the bridges in New York, and a cop pulled him over, or tried to pull him over, and this guy just stopped in the middle lane on a bridge. And the cop pulled up alongside of him and just started yelling and shining his flashlight and yelling, "Pull over." This guy had never been pulled over before, and so his reaction to a cop stopping you is, "Oh, just stop." Don't be that guy. Don't stop a taxi cab in the middle of a bridge in the New York metropolitan area or any other area. Music moves forward. It's always moving forward, and you want to reinforce that in your own mind by playing forward. Forward ever, backward never. So that's one sense of don't stop. Okay, that's sense number one. Now maybe there'll be some special effect here, and we'll go to sense number two. Our special effects budget is pretty low. I'm just going to wave my hand in front of that. There we go. Okay, new scene. Don't stop. I remember years ago reading about this super chops way of practicing. It was something, I think Howard Roberts developed it, or at least taught it, if he wasn't the original guy. And it has to do with taking a tune like All the Things You Are and just playing steady eighth notes. I don't have my metronome handy, but if I did, it would go, tick, 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 tick. And I ended there about on the first bar of the next chorus. So some of that I felt was pretty good. Some of it was not great. But the point is not to judge. If you start judging, you're going to start stopping. And don't stop. It's a really good thing to practice. I don't encourage you to play that way too much of the time on a real gig, because it can be a little taxing on people's ears. In other practice time, you do want to practice playing real musical phrases that have clear beginnings, middles, and endings. You know what I mean? Phrases that have a shape to them. This is a little bit shapeless. But it does help you connect the dots. It helps you realize that from any note you can go in a direction and keep moving through the harmony. There's lots of Bach music that works like that, like, you know, the partitas and sonatas for solo violin are pretty much perpetual. There's not a lot of rests there. Also, if you can find that Joe Pass book or any of Joe Pass's instructional books, there's lots of like 12-bar blues lines that just go and go and go and go. And it's just a good way to learn to keep moving and keep moving. And I think you have to actually think ahead a little bit, because if you are not thinking ahead of where you are, you may, paint yourself into a corner. You may run out of string, or you may run out of finger, or you may, run out of whatever, neck, I don't know. So it's a good thing to practice. Again, I wouldn't do it all the time, but once in a while, it is a good thing to practice. You could take it as slowly as you need to. It doesn't have to be a speed thing, although I think in the actual super chops way of looking at things, the idea is to go for speed. So you would pick a tempo that you could do eighth notes comfortably at, and then over time you would increase it and increase it and increase it until it was just super burning, and you could play steady eighth notes all the time, and that would be a good thing if you could do that. Good for your technique, good for your ears, good for your imagination. Okay, so don't stop, as in don't just give up and stop. If you make a mistake, just gotta keep going. That's one sense. Sense two is practice some perpetual motion. If you don't like all the things you are, pick another tune. Pick a 12-bar blues, or just pick some cycle that you like to play over. And then the third sense, scene change. Okay, scene change is don't stop, as in don't give up. When you look at people who have long careers in music, the thing that they have in common is mostly that they don't die. That's hard to control sometimes. And then they don't give up. Everybody has tough weeks, tough months, tough years, tough periods in their life. If you love music, just find a way to keep doing it. I heard they rebroadcast an interview with Johnny Cash on Fresh Air, the interview show with Terry Gross, recently, and he was talking about a period before he made his last few records, when he was just kind of drifting, and this wasn't selling a lot of records, and his record company wasn't being supportive. It'd be easy to see how somebody like that would just give up. I mean, he had already done so much. He really didn't have anything to prove, but he didn't want to give up. He wanted to keep making records and doing what he loved to do. And he happened to meet Rick Rubin and got signed to American Records, and made some of the best music of his whole life near the end of his life. So you can really never see around the corner when you're having a dark episode of an hour or a day or a week or a month or a year. If music is really important to you, and if it brings you joy, just find a way to keep doing it. And if your goal is to have a life of music, then don't stop. Okay. Now, there's an irony in this, because I am going to, at least for the time being, to stop Guitar Tips. Episode 120, this episode will be my last for a little while. I'm not sure what I'm going to do next, because I just want to think about it and maybe find a new way to focus it. But, don't you know, don't worry. I don't think anybody's going to worry about guitar tips, but you know what I mean. Don't. I'm not taking the channel down. The channel will still be here. I will still respond to your comments in the comments section down below. If you want to talk about something offline, you can always email me at guitartips@adamlevy.com. If you want to know where I'm playing, you can go to adamlevy.com. If you want to buy some music or books or whatever, there's a bunch of links down below. I don't know if you've ever checked those out, but there's a whole bunch of stuff down there. Okay, I don't want to talk about it too much. I'm going to play a couple more choruses of All the Things You Are, and then I'm going to sign off. And thank you so much for your support. Thanks for tuning in and asking good questions, or just, you know, tuning in regularly. You don't have to ask questions, but I appreciate it when you do. This series has been one of the most fulfilling things I've ever done in my musical and educational life. So thank you for being part of it, and to be continued. So I'm going to play a couple choruses of non-stop All the Things You Are. 1, 2. One more. Okay, that was pretty silly. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks again for all your support. Thanks to Martin Guitar Strings for making super great acoustic guitar strings. Also wanted to give a shout out. Well, I've worn all this stuff off of here, but I've been using these picks lately by Jim Dunlop. They're prime tone sculpted picks in the 1.3 thickness. They're pretty neat. I dig them. And really no thanks to Gibson, but this is my trusty old 1979 ES335 Esther, one owner, me. Okay, that's enough. I'll see you sometime. Take good care and stay tuned.